Hello guys, Blair Harrison aka Harrison Productions here. It's been a long time, hasn't it, since I've uploaded a full video. I hope you all are keeping well. What I decided to do is make a video because, I need something to do with a bunch of free time. And I thought, what would be interesting would be a video on a very important question that I think a lot of guitar players would struggle with. The three important guitars. So this theory came about from a video that I've seen by Ramon Goose. Now, if you don't know who Ramon Goose is, he is a guitar player, a fascinating guitar player, may I say. I mean, honestly, just watch the guy's videos and I think you might be impressed. But he did a video, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. It'll be here, linked somewhere. But he did this interesting question of what would be the three most important guitars. And so I'll give you a bit of a scenario. So imagine if you're going to be on an island far away and you can only have three guitars. Because let's be honest, we have been in that situation where we have had to sell guitars, whether it was because we didn't get on with it, or it was just too good, or usually the main factor comes in the real world. We have to sell it for financial reasons. So in this case, if you were to have three guitars, what would it be? And this got me actually thinking quite a bit, and I've got three that might interest you. Now, I'm not saying like they're the important guitars to own. I mean, we all have our different tastes and opinions. So I would actually be interested if any of you guys have your three go-to guitars or basses or even keyboards. Actually, I'd be interested to see what keyboarders have to say for their choices. So, get in the comments, engage. So let's just start the video. So what would you say is important? So the three things I would look for in a guitar is 1, the playability, 2, the versatility of the guitars, and 3, can I get all the sounds that I love and bring it on the stage? So okay, number 1, I might as well just get this one out of the way because I already did a video on it a couple of videos ago, months really, but you get the idea. And the main reason is because I don't have it here at the moment. It's actually getting new pickups and electronics replaced. But in case you don't know, it is in fact my Epiphone Firebird. Now you're probably thinking, a Firebird? Really? Why? This is something I've often asked, but I guess one of the reasons was because a Firebird to me is kind of like a Stratocaster. And I've never really got on with Strats, and my main issue with the Strats have always been just, well, the bridge pickup always feels was a bit weak, and mainly that middle pickup, you just never know what to use it for sometimes. And yes, the Firebird has got an awkward shape, and the Firebird pickups are, to be acquired, certain tastes, but I love them. And I think the reason I love the Firebird is mainly because I've been playing it a lot. And I think what I've loved about it is its versatility. It is, I can honestly say, at the time of this video, it is the only guitar I personally feel does everything I want it. And especially on stage, because with my band Fade and Lights, I don't know how you describe us as a genre, but we're one of those bands that will try anything. Whether it's in an electronic sense, or jazz, or funk, or country setting, whether we know it or not. What I always look for a guitar is, can it work in that music, and will it fit? And the Firebird, no matter what it is, just seem to do it for me, and especially on stage, because I've never really got on with humbuckers as well. I've always found with humbuckers, the problem is, even though I've got the treble very high, it always feel as the brick just, kind of blocking it. You want to kind of push through it to break through a bit. And that's what I love about the Firebird pickups. Because even though they are really bright, you can always turn them down. And even if you're at like I don't know, 3, 2, or 1, it still cuts through. And that is what I love about it. And it's just a beautiful guitar, you know? I mean, look at it. Would you not want to pick that up? And well, I mean, there's only one guy you can think of when you say Firebird, and that's Johnny Winter. I mean, I'll rest my case. I mean, he owned like a couple, and even he loved them. And of course, another fact I didn't even know till I watched Ramon Goose's video was about Firebirds was a guitar player called Eddie Shank Willis. Now, you may not recognise the name, but you've definitely have heard his playing. He was actually one of the session guitarists for Motown. In fact, he's the guy who plays I Heard It Through the Grapevine. And you know what guitar he used? A Firebird. I mean, if it worked for him, surely it can work for anyone. So, for my number one choice, it would be the Firebird. It's been really my go-to guitar, and honestly, I would hate to be in a world where I didn't try it out and still be struggling to get the sounds I want. So obviously I don't have it with me, but I've got some videos to show you its usage, and you know, you can make a decision for yourself whether you agree with me or not. Okay, so guitar number 2. So the Firebird's a bit more brighty. It can do any genre from hard rock to country to even jazz a bit. But what if there was a scenario where you needed a guitar to be very warm and feel even more jazzy, if that makes sense? Well, the simple route would be to get a hollow body guitar. But which hollow body guitar? For me, there's only one name, Chuck Berry, and that is a 335. But obviously, I don't have a 335 personally because, I did had a Barney 335 copy, but again, those damn humbuckers just never did it for me. So, I have this instead. I don't know if you can see this, but this is an Epiphone Rivera. This is a 2021 model, or maybe later, but these were reissued in the early 2020s. And basically, why would you need a hollow body guitar? Well, it's just nice to have. It can do the stuff from jazz to rock, and of course, the one band that every guitarist love to say they hate, but in actual fact, they have to oblige to them, and that's Oasis. You know, there may be a scenario in a gig where you're going to have to play Wonderwall, or Don't Look Back in Anger, or Champagne Supernova, or Stand By Me. And what did Noel Gallagher use? A hollow body guitar. And so, why I liked this guitar is mainly because the mini humbuckers. Now, I often complain about humbuckers just not cutting it, but the mini humbuckers, I don't know, it's just because of the construction or whatever, but for me, it just seems to cut through and gives it a bit more kind of an edge, harsher, bitier tone, if that makes sense. And it's just a lovely guitar. I mean, the story was I was recording a song, which I don't even know what I'm allowed to say, but we got a song in the work. It's called Loyal Like Evergreen, and I needed something that was a bit warm, almost jazz-like. It's not really a jazz tune, but you know what I mean. That kind of warm feel. And this guitar just seemed to done it for me. And you know, that's the thing about hollow bodies. You can play anything from this. I mean, a lot of R&B guitarists use this, you know. I mean, if you look at something like B.B. King or Wes Montgomery or any like funk and R&B acts, you will often see a hollow body. Hello everyone, this is the voice of Future Blair here. And yeah, just to interrupt you to let you know that unfortunately, while recording this, Blair Harrison of the past didn't bother to actually check the battery life on his Zoom recorder. So unfortunately, the only thing that was recorded on microphone was the camera microphone, which is usually not the preferred sound, but that's how it is, unfortunately. So, apologies, everyone. I'll try and remember to actually check the batteries before I start recording. And now on with the video. And it can also be handy for lead, especially when you got Chuck Berry, and well, he showed what a whole body guitar could look like. But I picked this guitar just because I just think it looks cool. And also, 2 words, Lou Reed. He had a Rivera, and in fact, it's the guitar that is seen on the album cover for Transformer once you actually find the original image unfiltered. And, you know, if Lou Reed and Noel Gallagher loved these guitars, then where can you go wrong? And finally, the third guitar. Now, we have a Firebird that can do any genre you want it to do, and you got a hollow body that can do the warm jazz sound. But what if in a scenario you need something that's a bit more country sounding, almost twangy? Well, the other option would be a Stratocaster, wouldn't it? But we already got a Stratocaster, which is the Firebird. And so it makes sense to go for the one guitar that started it all, the Telecaster. And this can be anyone. It could be a Blackguard from the 1950s, or it could be this one, a 60s rosewood thin neck. And personally, I love the blonde, don't get me wrong. It's an iconic guitar, the Blackguard. I mean, Bruce Springsteen, Keith Richards, Graham Coxon, Roy Buchanan. But there's just something about a sunburst rosewood neck Telecaster from the 1960s that just sounds just feels familiar. And also, there's a track from the 1960s called Shaking All Over by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. And the guitar player on that recording was a session musician named Joe Moretti. And he was born, get this, he was a Glaswegian. So, if a Ouija used this guitar on an iconic recording like that, you know it's something. I rest my case. And I guess the reason I like the 60s is just the thinner neck. It just feels more comfortable. The 50s necks are kind of like baseball bats. If you ever played a guitar from the 50s, like a Telecaster or even a Les Paul, unless you've got big hands like Roger Waters or Eric Clapton, you're sorted. But if you're somebody like me who doesn't have big, massive hands, then a slim 60s neck might be more comfortable. And it's just easy just to play chords and, of course, playing lead. And, it's an iconic guitar. Leo Fender, right? Leo Fender. He made this. This was the guitar that even Gibson felt they had to compete with. There's the famous story of Les Paul. He built the log guitar. Nobody wanted it. They thought it was ridiculous. But then here comes a guy who couldn't even play guitar called Leo Fender, released this, and then everyone went, we got to actually do something. And there's just something about Telecasters. I think it's even said it's possibly one of the 3 most recorded guitars in history, along with the Stratocaster and the Les Paul. That must tell you something. And of course, many greats. James Barton, for example. How can you not go wrong with the man who played a lot of greats from Ricky Nielsen to Elvis Presley? For fuck's sake, the king, man, as they say. So, and this is just great for lead. And sometimes even that neck pickup is really good. Although a lot of us might think, it's nothing. But it's handy when you need it. And honestly, who wants to live in a world where there's no Telecaster? I definitely don't. And there may be a scenario where if you have the best guitar in the world, you're going to need a Telecaster on a recording. And I think this would be the one. I should mention, this is, did I even say it? This is a Squier Classic Vibe 60s Telecaster. And it's just nice. Okay, it doesn't say Fender on it. And I'm sure there's probably a better replica of it made by Fender, but I haven't got the money for that. And here's a guitar that costs, actually I don't even remember how much this cost. This must have cost I don't know. When did I buy it? I think I must have got it for about 300 quid. A 300 quid guitar that just feels nice. The electronics are a bit, not the best, but you can replace them. And how good this is? You can get 3 versions. You can get a Telecaster, you can get the Esquire with just a single bridge, or if you fancy to go a bit different, you can get a baritone version. A baritone version of this. It's a bargain. So that's my choice. So number 1, my Epiphone Firebird. Number 2, my Epiphone Rivera. And number 3, my Squier Telecaster, 1960s. And now, I shall leave you all with some playing from this guitar. I bid you all farewell, and I hope to see you for another video. And if you've got 3 guitars you think are better than mine, then please, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And I hope to see you soon, whenever that is, I don't know. I can never tell these things, but I promise I will return eventually with a video. It just depends when. So thank you very much for sticking around a very absent channel that is this. And I'll see you next time, whenever. Take care. Ah, for fuck's sake. That's how good it is when the string breaks. I don't know what to say.